Are you aware of the events that took place between Diddy and Jay-Z all those years ago, when Diddy was accused of betraying Jay-Z? Do you have any specific knowledge of these occurrences? Did you make an effort to obtain a better understanding of what actually took place? Well, worry no more, because I'm here to give you the exclusive gist of what actually happened, how and why Diddy betrayed Jay-Z. So make sure you don't go anywhere, because we will be showing you the clips of Daddy's confession. The world of rap has been plagued by rumors and speculation for decades, but now Jay-Z is finally prepared to set the record straight and rectify the issue. He is finally ready to correct the issue and make the record clear. Within the confines of this exclusive tell-all, the co-founder of Roc-A-Fella Records reveals the complexities of one of the most notorious fallouts in the annals of the history of the music industry during the course of this exclusive tell-all. The truth about how a potential cooperation turned into backstabbing and treachery, as well as how it almost cost him everything he had, is going to be given to you by Jay himself, and he is going to give you the stories without any editing taken into consideration. In the very near future, Jay will give this information to you without any further delay. Friendship, rage, loyalty, and ambition are just some of the themes that are discussed throughout the course of the story. There are a lot of other themes that are also discussed. An additional aspect to take into consideration is the fact that this is a story that has never been recounted before up to this particular moment. Nobody else has ever been informed about it by anyone else. You should not miss even a single second of this movie, especially if you are a fan of Jay-Z or Roc-A-Fella, or if you simply appreciate seeing things that are spicy and related to hip-hop drama. It is strongly suggested that you do not miss even a single second of this movie. To ensure that your mind is fully blown when this bombshell is inevitably revealed, you need to make sure that you hit the subscribe button as soon as you possibly can. This will ensure that your mind is entirely blown. Consequently, let's get down to the matter at hand, shall we? The latter half of the 1990s coincided with the fact that Jay-Z is currently at the top of his career, which happened to coincide with the entrance of the decade. Not only is his Roc-A-Fella label the most well-known entity in the hip-hop industry, but it is also the label that is responsible for the production of record after record that is regarded as a classic masterpiece each and every time. In addition to the pain that has already been caused, the fact that Jay, together with his two closest friends and business partners, are at the heart of all that is taking place is a further insult to the hurt that has already been inflicted. From the ground up, the three of them were the ones who were responsible for initiating the foundation of Roc-A-Fella. Since that time, the organization has developed into a powerful organization that is capable of competing with any huge record company. There was a possibility that they may be considered brothers due to the fact that they had identical goals and were committed to the culture to the same extent. This was one of the elements that had a role in the intimacy that existed between them. Without a shadow of a question, they were exceedingly difficult to beat when they collaborated with one another. To put it another way, the primary reason for this is that Jay was not aware of the presence of wicked powers that were at work. These forces posed a threat to their kingdom and had the ability to bring it to its knees. Jay was unconscious of these forces. The figure known as Sean Diddy Combs, who was the person responsible for the formation of Bad Boy Records and who at one point in time acted as Jay's mentor, is present here. Even though Diddy had never been a fan of The Roc, he was adamant about his mission to bring them down, even if it meant betraying his own protege. He was absolutely determined to bring them down. He had a firm resolve to bring them to their knees. In his determination to bring them to their knees, he was unwavering. At the point in time when everything finally came to a head on that fateful night in the club, everything was resolved. Last but not least, everything was resolved. While Jay were commemorating a huge Roc-A-Fella milestone, Diddy approached them to offer his congratulations. Moreover, Biggs was present and taking part in the festivities. During the time that he was going through the formalities of introducing himself, he had a large smile plastered all over his face. It was ultimately determined that the fundamental course that hip-hop's history would eventually take would be altered as a result of the subsequent events that took place. As far as Diddy is concerned, he had a business proposition for them, which he characterized as an opportunity that was really challenging to not take advantage of. He said that he was the one who had made this chance available to them. However, Jay would eventually figure out that Diddy's genuine motives were significantly more evil than he had previously believed them to be. This discovery would come about as a result of Jay's realization. This insight would eventually become apparent at some point. In the context of the Roc-A-Fella record label, he was attempting to convince himself that Jay was the one who was blocking them from attaining their full potential. He was doing this in an effort to convince Diddy that Jay was the enemy. In order to achieve the goal of dissolving the relationship that existed between the three individuals who were a part of the label, this action was taken. It has been reported that Diddy made the following statement: "Jay is getting all the credit, but you are the real visionary." This is what the reports that have been made have demonstrated to be the case. You deserve to be in the spotlight, not him. When all was said and done, the endeavor was a success. In spite of the fact that she had always been the most explosive of the three partners, Diddy began to experience feelings of bitterness as Jay's celebrity reputation gradually increased. Since the beginning, Diddy had been the most unpredictable participant. Diddy had always been the weakest of the three couples when compared to the other three couples. During a relatively brief period of time, the friends who had been inseparable for such a significant amount of time found themselves at one another's throats as the tensions reached a point where they were about to explode. It was at this time that the friendship between the pals began to deteriorate. Jay pleaded with Diddy to take his line of reasoning into consideration and to think about everything that they had accomplished together that was attained as a result of their combined efforts by working together. Jay was fully and utterly taken aback by the occurrence when it was finally brought to a close. The loss of his firm was not the only thing that he was going through. He was also going through the loss of his two best friends together. He was responsible for the loss of both of them. As a result of Dame and Big's decision to remove themselves from the Roc-A-Fella label, the company experienced irreparable damage as a final consequence of their departure. Jay was successful in accomplishing his goals because he had dedicated to obtaining success and was able to sustain his dedication throughout the entirety of his endeavors. After that, he went on to become one of the most famous and successful rappers in the history of the genre, so establishing his legacy as a genuine embodiment of the culture. He continues to be a representative of the culture. Since then, he has established himself as one of the most successful rappers in the annals of the genre's history. On the other hand, there was a portion of him that would always wonder what might have been if Diddy hadn't intervened, and if the three members of the Roc-A-Fella group had continued to be members of the same group of musicians. The possibilities of what could have been were something that he never stopped thinking about. All right, folks, here it is. The uncensored truth regarding the aftermath of the Roc-A-Fella event, straight from the lips of Jay-Z himself. I am appreciative of your hearing. You must have had a wonderful time. In spite of the fact that this story has been shrouded in confusion and conjecture for a significant amount of time, the King of New York is now prepared to finally set the record straight. He is ready to finally put an end to the guesswork that has been going on. It is time for him to finally put an end to the confusion that has been plaguing everyone else. If you are a true fan of Jay-Z and the history of hip-hop, you are not going to want to miss even a single second of this video. You will want to watch it all the way through. You are going to find that these two things are of the utmost value to you throughout the entirety of your life. A glimpse inside one of the most notorious sagas in the history of rap music is about to be presented to you, and you should be prepared for exclusive and uncut footage of it. The moment has arrived to press that button that allows you to subscribe, and you ought to be prepared for it. I am telling you that you have never before had the chance to take pleasure in the experience of listening to the story being presented in such a manner. Consider what I have to say about that.